Today we're going to talk about the order of operations. And please don't forget, you can pause this video at any time if you want to study it more. Or, if a page is too easy for you, you can move forward to a more difficult section. We often use the anagram PEMDAS to help us remember the order of operations. Some of you may recall that this is often an anagram for please excuse my dear Aunt Susie, or something like that. Anyway, P stands for parentheses. Actually, there's more than parentheses. The first one is parentheses, as you can see there. The second one is called brackets. And the third one I'm calling curly brackets. Your textbooks call them braces, usually, B-R-A-C-E-S. But curly brackets is kind of nice to say. Lots of scientific people call them that. So we do grouping symbols first. And I might as well mention it now. If you end up with, in the purple blob up there, if you end up with grouping symbols within other grouping symbols within other grouping symbols, you start with the innermost one and then work your way out. You apply the you apply the order of operations to the elements in the grouping symbol, and when it's simplified, you go to the next one, etc. So after we do the grouping symbols, we do exponents. Then it comes, next line is multiplication, division. Notice that multiplication does not always come first, even though it looks that way. You do multiplication and division. Whichever one comes first, you do that one first. Then the last one is adding and subtracting, and it's the same way. If the addition comes first, you do it first. If the subtraction comes first, you do it first. Okay, but notice down next, I said, but first, there's something looking like minus 3 squared or negative 3 squared equals question mark. And then below, 2 lines below that, it says parentheses, negative 3, closing parentheses, squared equals question mark. Students often get these mixed up. So let's go back to the first one again. Notice you can write negative 3 squared as negative 1 times 3 squared. There always seems to be a hidden 1 everywhere. All right, so this just equals negative 1 times, the 3 is the only thing that gets squared, so it's 9. So it's negative 1 times 9 equals minus 9. So that's the way you do that one. The next one is parentheses, negative 3 in parentheses squared equals question mark. Well, the way you do this is the parentheses means the whole thing is multiplied by itself and 2 times. And so we have that equals negative 3 in parentheses times negative 3 in parentheses equals positive 9, because a negative times a negative is a positive. Okay, now let's illustrate how these could work. Let's take a look at grouping symbols first. We have parentheses 23 plus 4 times minus 3 equals something. So the order of operations, we have a plus sign, a multiplication sign, and then a subtraction sign. So the first thing we're going to do here is multiply the 4 times 2, which is going to be 8. So if we look, that whole symbol now is going to equal 23 to the right equals 23 in parentheses plus 8 minus 3 closing parentheses. Okay, now we take a look at that symbol there, and we have we see the 23 plus 8. The plus comes first, so we're going to do the addition first. 23 plus 8 is 31, so we end up with 31 minus 3, which equals 28, the 28 in red there. So we're done. That's how you can simplify a grouping symbol. and get rid of the parentheses. Next one down, let's look and see how exponents can be handled. We have x times 3 squared equals, well, notice that the exponents come before multiplication, so we're going to take that 3 and square it. So we end up with 4 times 9, and that equals 36. They're in red. Okay, let's see how multiplication and dividing can work. We have 20 divided by 4 times 2 equals, note that the division comes first, and so we're going to do the division first. So that's 20 divided by 4 is 5 times 2 equals 10. Add, subtract. We have 5 plus 5 minus 6. Well, the addition comes first this time, so we're going to do it first. 5 plus 5 equals 10 minus 6. 10 minus 6 equals 4 in red. All right. And then I have another one after that. It says 5 minus 5 plus 6 equals 0 plus 6 equals 4. Well, that's not right. That's a mistake. So I have to take care of that. Now let's evaluate the following problems. Let's see if you can do these. Problem number 1 is just 4 plus 5 times 7. Problem 2 is 5 minus 3 squared times 4. Problem 3 is 2 plus 4 times the quantity of 5 plus 3 times 3 squared. All right, that's all. The last part's all in parentheses. That's what the quantity means. Problem 4 is 5 plus 9 divided by 3 times 4. Problem 5 is 12 minus 2 times 5 minus 1. So let's see if you can do these problems. You can pause this video if you want. The solutions will be on the next page.